Okay, today is the first one in our cycling series, and we're going to focus a bit on our kind of lower body, as well as kind of thinking about how that relates into having good core stability whilst we're working our lower limbs. So to start with, it's going to be quite heavy intense on the quads and the glutes, but as cyclists you'll be well aware of that, all those pumping of the heels. So with the feet, I just want you to bring them hip width apart so the feet are staggered underneath the hips. From here we're going to send the hips back, coming down into a squat. Just nice and gently easing the legs into it. Make sure the knees aren't drawing inwards, or in some people's cases drawing outwards. Sending the hips back, keeping the knees behind the toes. If you want to, squeezing through the glutes at the top, keeping the chest and upper body nice and still. And then on the next one, I want you to hold, staying at the bottom, and we're going to bring to pulse here, so staying low. This is the climbs where you just don't get any of that full release or relaxation of the thighs, so you're building the strength in the quads, pulsing, breathing, getting the heart rate up. I hate hills, not gonna lie. Keep breathing, stay here for a few more moments. It's going to get a little bit worse. What do you know? And then I want you to lift the heels and pulse away. Staying here, pulsing. If you can, drawing through the core. Get upper body, should be nice and still. I know it's tough. So in this position, if you're holding the handlebars, upper body, nice and strong core. Head nice and still. Neck nice and upright. Feeling the thigh burn yet? Let's go a few more seconds here. And then releases. Oh, legs definitely warm. Give the legs a little shake off. So next on the series, we want to focus in on the lunges, a really key specific exercise relevant to cyclists. So from here, we're going to add a bit of balance in as well. So I want you to lift, balancing on one leg, and then you're going to step back into a lunge. So a bit of dynamic balance and strength. Brilliant for working everything. Lift, back, and in that lunge position, upper body still, stabilizing the core, 90-90, ideally at both knees. Not this position, 90-90, bring up, step back. Couple more. On your next one, we can hold, step back, hold in that lunge position, bring the arms out in front, pulsing. You're going to hate me after this. If I only get like 2 views, I know why. Pulsing, upper body still. Take it next level up, lift that front heel, pulsing. Let's go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Give the legs a little shake off. Other side, we're going to lift, step back into a lunge. Lift, stepping back. You're thinking about the posture through the upper body, not just the legs. And on your next one, step back, hold, back into those pulses, bring the arms out, stabilizing the upper body, shoulders back and down. Next level up, lift the heel, pulsing, dig a little deeper. Let's go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh. Give the legs a little shake off. Bring the feet back into parallel, hip width apart, and we're just going to start to pump through the calf. So really important to keep that foot flat when you're cycling, that we develop our calves. So just gently rising onto the toes and lowering. Good, taking up a pace, a little bit faster, up and down. And then challenging your balance, hook one foot behind. This is a tough one. Lifting, lowering just one side. Really isolating the calf on that side. 5 more. 4, 3, 2, 1. Other side. Again, you might find there's a bit of disparity between the two sides, and just know which is your weaker side, focus in on it. If you've ever had any ankle injuries, this is a brilliant one. Once you've nailed it, you could shut your eyes. Just hold it, so love that. Or just keep them open. And let's go 5 more to finish this side. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Give the legs a little shake off. All right, bring yourself to the middle or the front of your mat, coming into a roll down. So again, although the session's focused pretty much hips, waist downwards, we're not neglecting the core. You'll feel it in a moment. And the next session, the follow-on session in our cycling series, will focus in a lot on core, upper body, head, neck and shoulders. So they're all to come. So from here, thinking about the flexibility of our spine, often a lot of cyclists, might be office workers as well, so lower back can be a bit of an issue. So we're thinking about flexibility of the spine, soften through the knees, just allow the arms to dangle down, folding the chin to the chest, peel down forwards, feel a nice stretch sometimes through the spine, soften the knees, allow the hamstrings a bit of a rest, coming down, and then you're going to come all the way back up, slowly rolling up through the spine. And we're going to go again, folding down. And slowly back up. Good, one last time, chin to chest, folding down forwards. This time at the bottom, allow the head and hands to just hang heavy. And want you to peel one heel and then the other. If you want to work at higher level, lift both, so you're balancing, and then alternately drop the heels. March with the legs, drop the head, relax the neck, really key. Often the neck gets a good work enough when we're cycling, but keep the head relaxed. Again, firing up the calves, giving them a bit of a workout. And then plant the heels, this time bring the hands just above the knees, and we're going to bring ourselves into a lovely flat back position. So working the core to achieve that lovely flat spine, from the base, from the coccyx all the way to the tip of the head, lengthening out through the neck, and then relax, drop that down, be nice and floppy. And we're going to go again, hands just above the knees, lengthen the spine, crown the head pointing away, and relax that down. Bring the hands to the floor, soften the knees, step the feet back. You're going to come down into a high plank position. So from here, we're working quite a fast pace. This is really going to work in on the leg, reciprocal leg movements, working the core, keeping the upper body nice and still. So I want you to drop one knee and lift. Drop the other knee, lift. Focusing on keeping the pelvis, back, lower part of the back, nice and still. Drop the knee, lift, drop, lift. And then we're going to go a little bit faster. And then resting off, bring the knees to the floor. So we're going to repeat slightly harder as we're going to come down to the forearms, okay? The easier option is to do it the reverse. So the easier option now is to have knees down and you're alternately lifting. Reverse option, harder option, knees are off and you're alternately dipping. Okay, we're ready? You can choose the speed. Slower it is, the harder it is. You can vary it up, okay? Because you do work at the different speeds when you're cycling. So when you're ready, off we go. Keep everything in that nice alignment. Pelvis is nice and still. Imagining you're pedaling. It's not quite this hard, but you know. And breathing. Let's go 5 more each leg if you can manage. And then when you're finished, slowly drop the knees, sit yourself back into child's pose. Have a bit of breather and relax. Okay, we're going to stay on our hands and knees. Again, thinking about the leg movement while isolating and really stabilising using the core. You see a lot of cyclists, sort of amateur cyclists, really pumping when they're going up the hill when it's hard work and the pelvis is moving. And in order to get the most amount of power, everything pelvis upwards wants to be nice and still. So you isolate the strength through the legs. So it's all up here as well. So from your hands and knees, I want you to reach one arm out in front. Now remember, this is optional. If this is too hard, you can always bring the hand to the floor. And with the opposite leg, you're going to draw the knee in and out. That pedaling motion, you can flex the foot if you want. Upper body staying nice and still. Head's in line. Try not to lift the head. Try not to drop the head. Keep that lovely strength and stability through the neck. And we're going to add in a breath. So we're going to exhale, come in. Inhale. On your next one, I want you to hold, and this time keeping the legs straight, working into the lower back and hamstrings, you're going to pulse up and down. Back staying in a lovely position, nice and strong, nice and stable, working into the oblique. You should be able to feel sides working, abdominals nice and tight. Don't forget to breathe. And if you're shaking at this point or you're sweating, that's good work, well done. Okay, right, relax. Give the arms a bit of release, my wrists, and then we're going to swap sides. So when you're ready, reaching the opposite arm out, extending the leg, driving the knee in. Flex the foot if you want to. Exhale, draw the knee in, crunching in, inhale, extend. Pelvis lovely and still, no rocking movements. On your next one, hold, flex the foot, pulsing, heel towards ceiling. Don't lose that lovely flat back position. Don't begin to concave through the lower back. Pulsing up and down. And let's go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, sit back, have a well-deserved rest. Sit back on the heels and relax. Slowly bring yourself down onto one side. So we're going to isolate into the obliques, into the lats and the side, which help us to keep us stable through our side. And we're also going to isolate the glutes. So we're focused on the glutes, but while we do it, we're going to also add in a bit of oblique work. So the easier option, and there's no problem with doing the easier option, it's always a good one too, is to keep the hips down. Harder option, with me, lifting the hips, we're going to extend that top leg, and we're going to begin to lift and lower. So automatically feeling it through the glutes, glute med, but also mainly the abductors at the side, around the side here. Lifting, lowering. Rest the bodies in a nice straight line, elbows directly under shoulder. On your next one, I want you to lift and hold, and you're going to begin to come forwards and back. Forwards and back. Really challenging for the upper body to stay nice and stable, particularly the pelvis. Pelvis shouldn't be moving. Everything should be nice and still. And these ones are tough. And your next one, we're going to alter it slightly. We're going to drive the knee in and kick. That pedaling motion. Flex the foot if you want to. Last one, and resting back down. All right, feeling it? Good news is it's worse on the other side because you've been working both glutes already. So, setting yourself up, elbow under the shoulder. Remember, easy option, keep the hips down. You can do the same from the floor. When you're ready, off we go. We're lifting and lowering. Already feeling the burn, it's a good one. On the next one, begin to kick forwards and back. It's alright, I can't see your faces right now, or any naughty words used towards me out loud or in your head, that's okay. And then driving the knee up, that pedaling action, knee in, pelvis still, the whole time, no matter how tired you get. Pushing the heel away. And make your next one, last one, and well done. Come down. How's that feeling? Good? Are you a sweaty heap on the floor yet? Alright, please know there's one last one, then we're going to do a couple of final stretches. So bring yourself back to your hands and knees. Position your hands just slightly in front of your shoulders. Tucking the toes under. So I want you to watch me first, catch your breath again. This is almost like the functional plank, specific in a way. We're going to make it really specific to cyclists. Back wants to be lovely and level, particularly thinking about the pelvis. In a moment we're going to isolate working single legs, but to start with, taking a nice breath in. As you exhale nice and powerfully, you're going to gently push the knees off the floor. Inhale to lower. So it doesn't look like much, it's one of those exercises that feels much harder than it actually looks. Okay? Exhale. And you should notice how the core switches on. Last couple, back's lovely and flat. Again, think about that neck control, keeping almost a peach or something underneath your chin, neck nice and long. If you find it's too much on your wrists, any of this, you can do it from the forearms. Okay, last one, where we add in the reciprocal leg movement, mirroring cycling, but not quite because you're also working your core a lot more. I want you to hover, hold, keeping the knees as low as you can. You're going to begin to take the legs off, but making sure the pelvis isn't rocking. That's why it's hard. Imagine you've got a tray of drinks, that well-earned beer at the end of a long ride on the back. So you're really going to work hard to protect that, or coffee, depending what time, or both at the same time. Notice how low I'm keeping my knees. If you start getting higher and higher, you're not engaging the core anymore. Let's go. 5 more each side if you can manage. 4, 3, 2, 1. Gently lower. Sit back and breathe. Well done. So we've just got a few really important stretches to do, so make sure you do that, because without stretches you can leave yourself open to injury, as well as not working the right muscle groups. So in cycling, particularly glutes are often a main weakness, tight hamstrings obviously, which can lead to lower back problems. So with that in mind, we're going to come into a few hamstring stretches and hip flexor stretches, finishing with a lovely glute stretch. I want you to take a step forwards, both knees at 90 degrees. Now there's 2 options you can do this stretch. Ideally, I want you to try and thrust the hips forwards and upwards, so you're tilting your pelvis up. And you should feel a bit of a stretch. The top here in the hip flexor, you might feel it through the quad if you've got tight quads. Tucking the tail up by and under. Keeping the upper body nice and tall. If you're not feeling it in the hip flexor, you can come all the way down here and feel it, but it's quite a nice one to isolate up here. That small movement of the pelvis, tucking the tailbone under. Deepening the stretch, you can reach up with the same arm. Really lengthen and tilt over slightly. And release, coming into a hamstring stretch on this side. So you just want, you're going to gently rock back, pull the toes towards you, hinge forwards. This is uncomfy, just come around into sitting. If your knee's not liking it. The hamstrings are the kind of key culprits in cycling. Working at a desk, your legs are never straight. Cycling, legs are never really straight. If you sleep on your side, again, legs never really straight. So your poor hamstrings never really get lengthened. Coming back up, finishing this side with a glute stretch, then we're going to repeat on the other leg. So you're going to gently walk your foot to the edge of the mat, coming down, drop the knee, lengthen that back leg, and coming down. This is a really quite a harsh stretch for the glutes, but it is a really good one. You can rest all the way down. If it feels too much, you can always wedge a pillow underneath on that side. Aiming one day for this leg to be at 90 degrees. Have a look at the back, check your leg and foot straight, holding. And then gently releasing, swapping over. So taking a big step forwards, other leg, 90-90, tucking the tailbone under, feeling that hip flexor stretch, almost like you're leaning back, but not quite because your body stays nice and upright. Deepening the stretch, reaching up with that same arm and slightly over. And releasing, sitting back into a hamstring stretch and a bit of a calf stretch as you pull the toes back. Slowly coming up, gently walk that foot to the edge of your mat. Last one, bring the knee down, lengthen that leg out behind, bring yourself down into the pigeon stretch on the other side. Holding, you can come all the way down if you want, rest your head. And then releasing. And slowly bring yourself down into sitting. Legs crossed, just gently reach forwards, stretching out through the spine. If that's really uncomfy, uncross the legs. Walk the hands round to one side. And to the other side. And coming back to the centre. Give the shoulders a little roll out. And relaxing. Well done. That's a really tough session. Now you're ready for the climbs. Bring on those hills. Well done, everybody.